Greetings, amigops and top teners everywhere. This is Mike from Top 10 with Kyle and Mike. So I'm joined this week by our boy Kyle. Kyle tried to screw up the countdown to my intro, and I thought I was going to be clever and ad-lib. Did not work, so this is my second take on the intro. I am joined this week, as I am every week, by our boy Kyle and brother-in-law of the pod and beloved guest host Ian. Ian has a topic this week. I don't know what it is. Ian is going to be talking about it. We are going to debate this topic vigorously. We're going to rank it. We're going to re-rank it. And then by the end of this episode, the three of us will have agreed upon the definitive top 10 list of that thing. So Ian, so Kyle, what are we talking about this week?
Well, hey everybody. Happy to be back for a third time. It's a real blast.
Damn.
I love doing this. And before I start my actual list, thanks for the cool shout out in episode 100. I don't know what the number is going to be when this comes out, but I appreciate that. And Mike, I know Kyle, you're going to come anyway because, you kind of have to at this point. But if you wanted to come see the fall show that I'm going to be in this next fall, I will gladly let you know the details. I know it's pretty far away, but if you're trying to see me perform one more time in high school, you and longtime girlfriend, fiance of the pod are very welcome.
I gotta tell you, that would be the honor of my lifetime. Plus, I've been threatening to come to your family's kind of home area, which I think we might have said on one of the pods one time. I don't know, whatever. But the area where you guys are from, I've been threatening to come visit for a while, so it's probably time.
Well, that's actually a great segue in what I'm talking about, because then if you come to my home area, known as the Quad Cities on the eastern side of Iowa.
Yeah.
Well, I have to. The eastern side of Iowa and the western side of Illinois.
Top 4 Quad Cities.
Yeah.
Everything but East Moline. But you get to try Whitey's ice cream, which has been mentioned on the last 2 of my appearances.
Yes.
Briefly.
I was going to say that the actual name is ringing a bell now. It's seeped into my brain.
So yeah, I work at an ice cream shop, and I thought today I'd share with you the top 10 ice cream flavors that we have, but not just exclusive to Whitey's. It's just everywhere around there. And since I've been at Whitey's for 3 years now, it's kind of like expertise in quotation marks.
Okay.
Cause
Ian, I'm going to stop you right there, because putting expertise in quotation marks is entirely unnecessary and, in fact, disingenuous. Mike and I are both experts in ice cream in that we've consumed a lot of it in our time, and so we'll have informed opinions on it. But I'm very happy that we've waited as long as we have to do this particular episode, because we now have with us a bona fide expert on the matter. I thought I knew ice cream before I came to Whitey's, and you told me so much more that I did not know about ice cream, and we're all about to learn something today.
Wow. All right. I've got several questions, so may I throw a couple your way?
of course.
Okay. So broad sort of varieties, like let's just say gelato, soft serve, conventional ice cream. Are those all being ranked against each other, or are we focusing more on like conventional hard ice cream?
I hadn't really thought about that much because Whitey's exclusively has hard serve.
Okay.
So I was thinking we'd only do hard serve. But these also just, on my list, it doesn't say Whitey's ice cream flavors. It just says ice cream flavors because I know that there are some flavors that Whitey's does not have, or we have variations of them.
Yep.
So if you think there should be oversimplified and you want to say some more stuff about how like this flavor has this in it, but it's like this other one, I'd be happy to switch that out. This is a very subjective list, and nothing is really set in stone for me. So, like, I'm very willing to rigorously debate this and come to a new order at the end.
Okay. I think that you may have just answered one of my other big questions, which is how specific are we getting? That is to say, would we say a brand name? So it sounds like the answer is no. If it's vanilla, it's vanilla. It's not Breyer's vanilla versus Turkey Hill vanilla. It's vanilla.
Exactly. Yeah. There's so many different kinds of these ice creams that, like, I don't want to rank brands against each other, because if you want to go do that, go watch Good Mythical Morning, because they just got done with a series about that.
Oh, so shit.
If you want to go watch that, that's a whole different thing. We're just doing flavors. We're not doing brand names or anything like that.
Okay. All right. So, my last question. I think that this one is probably obvious, but I'm assuming that these flavors cannot have like an alternating scoop theme to them, which is to say, it has to come out of the tub or the carton as is. Like there can't be like I've seen some where the flavor itself is really two different flavors kind of combined. It all has
Moose Tracks.
Yeah, that would be a good example. Yeah, but
I say that because you said that on the SpongePod Squarecast last summer. You said because we were talking about ice cream then too, and you talked about mint Moose Tracks.
My God, you are you are something else. Okay, but so take that for example. So that I would imagine is something that doesn't count.
It can if you want to put mint Moose Tracks on there instead of regular Moose Tracks, or you want to take Moose Tracks out of it and just put mint ice cream. It can be as free flow as that. We're looking at very little structure here, except for the part that is a top 10 list with a not top 3 that's going to be queued after some stanky beats.
I think I see your point though, Mike. Like the ice cream should exist in a tub form. Like if it requires me to take a scoop from one tub and mix it with another to create the flavor, that's probably, I don't think that should qualify.
Like I've seen some, I'm trying to think like a sherbet type where there's like multiple colors of sherbet that they combine and it's like some sort of sherbet medley. Like Neapolitan ice cream, I would think would count as one flavor because there is a tub of the strawberry chocolate vanilla combo, but that's like that is right up to the edge of what would be acceptable here, I would think.
Well, nothing is on there on the list that qualifies for what you're talking about, so we might not run into that problem.
Okay.
But if we do, I'm saying that if it comes, I'm agreeing with you. If it comes in a tub form, then it should count. If we have to like do some other stuff to mix to it,
some voodoo,
I wouldn't say it counts. Yeah.
Okay. And to quote the kid from Role Models, that's booty.
I like your take on boobies.
The love gun is a dick.
Before number 10 starts, I want to inform the both of you on my ranking system. So it's ranked from 10 to 1, as any 10 list is. But the stuff at the bottom half of the list and the stuff at the top half of the list are very different in that they're ranked on 3 grades. One of them is how they work in a sundae, how they work in a shake, and how they work by themselves. Because at Whitey's, we take all of our ice cream flavors and we can make them into sundaes or shakes. So I will be ranking them like number 1, it's good in all 3, and number 10, it's only good by itself.
Interesting.
So the versatility of the ice cream plays a factor. That's interesting.
Yes.
And
that
changes my thinking on some of my favorite flavs.
Yeah.
That is why, as a beginning, vanilla is not on the list. It is an honorable mention because I feel like that'd be unfair. Because I feel like if you just put vanilla, then it's always going to be number 1 because it's the most versatile when it comes to making it into stuff. So I put vanilla as an honorable mention.
Yeah, but
I think outside of the box a little bit.
But well, we can talk about this, but I think vanilla suffers because I don't think that many people really enjoy eating hard scoop vanilla ice cream by itself, right? I mean,
relative to other options, no.
Yeah,
no, especially when you're at an ice cream shop that has 50, 60 flavors.
Well, it's interesting. I like that you're attacking this from such a scientific perspective, Ian, because you can get down such a wormhole of so many different various uses for ice cream, and the fact that we're limiting it to how it appears in a sundae or a shake or by itself, I think, is a wise way to go about this.
Yeah, I think that this will help us avoid going down the rabbit hole of personal taste, because I think we could end up just being like, yeah, but I like that. Yeah, but I like that. I really like your.
Oh, I'm still going to do that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I will be arbitrary as usual.
I mean, my entire list was just subjective. So, 3, 2, 1 are my favorite flavors. I don't care what you guys say about them because,
respect.
So I have the same viewpoints as you guys. But I just want to get that out in the middle so that when listeners hear that and we're not at 5 or 6 and they're thinking, oh, that's my favorite flavor. It should be number 1. I was like, well, that's a reason is this low, and then we can debate if switch the order. But we do that with every single one, so we can just commence if you guys would like to.
Please.
All right, so at number 10, I have chocolate chip cookie dough.
Whoa.
And so I'll give a flavor description
and
then what I would pair it with if I was
a red.
You guys. So
a Merlot or a Cab.
So chocolate chip cookie dough at Whitey's is a brown sugar flavored ice cream with chocolate chips and real cookie dough pieces. And it's delicious by itself. And I would say it's good in a shake, but we use different cookie dough in our cookie dough shakes than we do the ice cream. So the cookie dough ice cream and the cookie dough shake are two very different things. So that's why it's this low on the list. It's because it's really only good by itself, or maybe with a little bit of butterscotch on top. That's strictly it.
Interesting. Yeah, I feel like if I'm handed a scoop of chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream, it's almost I'd be a blaspheme to put anything else on it, really.
Yeah.
It would also so let's talk about the shake a little bit. So my brain when I hear shake goes to like fully liquefied ice cream.
Oh,
but
no, not even a little bit. Whitey shakes do not work. We cannot use straws in them. You can turn it upside down by itself, and it'll stay there for a while before it leaves the cup.
So I have a better impression now of what you're talking about. But let me ask you this: does the shake version of the chocolate chip cookie dough have cookie dough? Like, are they still chunk form when you get the shake, or have they been blended?
They're mostly chunk form, but the edges usually break off because they're little squares. So the edges usually break off and then go into the ice cream, like in the crumbly form that you like.
But that's big because I think chocolate chip cookie dough could seriously suffer from the versatility requirement if you didn't still get to enjoy the cookie dough experience in the shake. But since you do, huge ups.
Yeah, so the shake at Whitey's is made with butterscotch flavoring, and then scoops of cookie dough and chocolate chips go into it before we put it on our spindles to blend it. So it's very different from the ice cream itself because it's losing the brown sugar element, and the cookie dough pieces in the shake are often larger than the stuff that appears in the ice cream. So that's why the shake is its own thing, and I'm not counting that because it's not its own scoop of ice cream.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Which is why it ranks so low on the list.
I think, I don't know. Because that's such a specific... Well, I don't know. Maybe it's not. I would say because that seems like a very specific Whitey's thing, and you guys are very sophisticated. I feel like most places, if you ask for a chocolate chip cookie dough shake, they're just going to dump regular chocolate chip ice cream and blend that shit up. In which case, like, that's a good shake.
That's true. Like steak and shakes do that.
Yeah,
but does the steak and shake have the chunks still?
That's the big question, and I'm not well versed enough in chocolate chip cookie dough. Because you're right, Mike. Like, if in a shake form, it's not individual chunks anymore, it's basically just turned into like a chocolate shake, and that you lose points for that.
Yeah,
I think Whitey's is the chunkiest of it because we are very rustic ice cream, and like it's been around for so long. Nothing's really changed since the 30s.
Rustic.
Let me ask you this: do you have a visor with "This is Whitey's" on it or anything? Like, what's your deal? Do you wear any Whitey's apparel on your off day?
We can, but we have to pay for it.
Bitches.
We get an employee discount, which marginally takes off the order of our ice cream, but all the apparel and the logo stuff is still full price for us. So I could buy a sweatshirt that says Whitey's University on it. And it has like we have our own little seal and stuff, and it's really cool looking. You can look up a picture of it. I'm sure there's at least one on Google, but I don't wear it on my off days because we don't get visors either. We wear these paper hats from the 40s.
They're dope. I don't know, Ian, if you're up for it, I would love to get a photograph of you in uniform up on the all Instagram. And
I already have a few that I'm going to send to you after we're done recording, and I'll take a few at my next shift.
All right.
You're a good man. All right. That's a hell of an entrance for
Booyah.
10. Shall we do number 9?
Yes. So number 9 is not a Whitey's exclusive, but I think Whitey's does it really well. It's a salted caramel.
Whoa.
So
this is one of those fancy flavors that has really come on in recent years that I'm just not mad about. Man, it's good.
Yeah, it's really good. It's a salted caramel ice cream with a real caramel swirl through it. So it's really good. I really like it. And it's insane on its own. Like I get this after almost every shift because we get a little treat after every shift, and I usually take this one and another one of the scoops up at the top end of the list. So I use this usually by its own, but in a shake it's also pretty good. But what it suffers on is sundaes because you can't really pair anything except for hot fudge, and a hot fudge sundae with salted caramel ice cream is a little too rich for me. So I don't exactly love it. So that's why it's number 9.
So, Ian, how do you define a sundae?
A sundae is a scoop of ice cream with any kind of our topping on top. And Whitey's toppings are strawberry, pineapple, peach, red raspberry, black raspberry, hot fudge, butterscotch, marshmallow. pretty much anything you can think of.
Can I just say real quick, so I know that that's not what you were describing, but you sounded like the pretzel guy from Pretzel Day in The Office. Just a little observation, but that's interesting. So to my mind, it's a sundae is hot fudge, maraschino cherries, walnuts, and whipped cream. That's the base case, and you remove as you please. That would be my emotional sort of that's my connection. Kyle, does that sort of tally with what you're thinking of as a sundae?
Yeah, so like Ian, your description of a sundae is more broad than I would have interpreted. So like any topping of a base scoop of ice cream, in your opinion, would be considered a sundae, at least from pricing perspective. So that changes how I think about this. In salted caramel specifically, it doesn't really, because unless you want to like be tasteful with some chocolate, either sauce or like some sprinkles or something, there's really nothing you want to put on top of that because it's so rich already.
That is why it's so low. It's because Whitey's, our sundaes do not come with whipped cream, nuts, and a cherry. There are specific ones, but then you have to pay for that if you want to have that. So the base of the sundae at Whitey's is just ice cream and one topping. Gotcha. And then you can add to it. So like, for instance, we serve something called a brownie under sundae, where we put a brownie under the ice cream. And then
why do they call it that?
I don't know. It's funny how they name things. But then you put a 5-ounce scoop of vanilla and then hot fudge, whipped cream, nuts, and a cherry. That's its own thing. But if you want to get a sundae, it does not have the brownie, it does not have the whipped cream, nuts, or cherry, and it does not have hot fudge. Because hot fudge sundae is more expensive than a regular sundae.
Interesting.
Mike, I think I associate more closely with your definition of a sundae, but I think for the purposes of our analysis and argument here, I'd like to use Ian's because, first of all, it's his list, and second of all, I think it actually just lends itself to a more interesting conversation because I think there are very few ice creams that are good in a sundae the way you've described it. But if we're opening it up to just one topping, then I think that we can talk about a greater number of ice creams.
I agree, especially because I think the majority of the toppings that Ian named are sort of sauce-based, be it some sort of like puree or chocolate, and I think that opens you up to more flavor varieties, because you could theoretically have something that works really well with a pineapple chunk to somebody else's taste, because I don't like pineapple, or something totally different that works with chocolate. And I think that's important because that allows for different types of flavor profile.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Salted caramel, baby.
What about 8 there, Wax?
Number 8 is going to greatly disappoint about 50% of the U.S. population.
Oh, you didn't!
Our co-host. Number 8 is mint chocolate chip.
Oh, he did!
And this is why. And Kyle can even back me up on this because both Kyle and Allegis said this to me last time I spoke with them. But mint chocolate chip is great on its own, and it's pretty good in a shake, but you can't get it with a sundae because there's nothing that really goes with mint chocolate chip as a sundae. And I don't think mint chocolate chip is as good to be very high on the list based on being a scoop of its own. Like, I don't think mint chocolate chip is enough to get it to the top of the list by itself.
All right, so let me ask you this. You would know this obviously much better than I would. What would you say is the ranking of sales for standalone, just the scoop, hard ice cream at Whitey's? Like, where do you think, I specifically am asking, where do you think mint chocolate chip ranks in terms of sales for standalone ice cream?
6 or 7.
Really? That low?
Yeah.
That surprises me.
Maybe a little higher than that, but I don't want to name anything off because a lot of the flavors that are above it are very high on my list. So it's also very seasonal, which I'll get into in the middle of the list, but it's mint chocolate chip. I scoop a lot of it, but there are at least four other flavors that I scoop more of on a day basis. Okay. And I think I've only had to make, in my 3 years of working at Whitey's, I think I've only had to make 5 or 6 sundaes that they use mint chocolate chip ice cream when they weren't smoking weed in the drive-thru.
Here's my counter to your sundae argument, Ian. Mint chocolate chip is already a fucking sundae, bro. Like, it is mint and it's chocolate chips. And it's so spectacular of a combination that it's defined the ice cream flavor itself. Like, like if you were to say mint was this low, I think I would be fine with that, because mint, like, very few people eat mint ice cream by itself. It's more of a gelato thing than an ice cream thing. But the pairing of chocolate chips with mint they're so closely intertwined that the sundae has become its own ice cream flavor. And on top of that, it pairs perfectly as a shake, because and this is what I always get when I come to Whitey's, is a mint chip shake, which is amazing because the chips stay in chip form. And it's just like you were saying, Mike, with the cookie dough. It's the perfect crunch to a shake. It's my preferred way to eat it at Whitey's. I disagree with this, Ian. I know that you might have 7 above this that you would say or higher for various reasons, but I'm going to say I disagree with you on this one.
Okay, so let me just take what you just said and flip it against you here. So you just said that a mint chocolate chip shake is your preferred way to eat it. So that's implying that you don't want to prefer to eat it in the scoop form, which in my opinion is the most important.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. If we're prioritizing just the scoop, that's interesting. But I will say, that's my opinion. I would say, wouldn't you agree that most people would eat it in scoop form as opposed to the shake? And the only place I get it in shake form is at Whitey's, because the chips are so damn good. And
wait, Kyle, can we focus on you for a second before we broaden this out to the broader group? Let's just talk you. So you're at Whitey's, and how do you think you would stack rank your options? So flavor and delivery combos. So your number 1 combo is the mint chocolate chip shake. What's number 2?
If I don't have the mint chip shake, I'm probably just gonna get a scoop. Well, I don't know. The shakes are so good at Whitey's that I might go to a different flavor. But if we're staying in the mint family, I'll just get a scoop of mint chip.
Okay, but so what I'm saying here is that Ian's point that I think he's trying to make is that you like the shake so much because, the scoop is lackluster. But what I'm saying is he's missing the point, which is that your depth chart starts at mint chocolate chip shake, and probably next is mint chocolate chip scoop, because the scoop is also so delicious.
Yeah, I'd say that is an accurate description of what's going on, Mike.
Kyle is, I think, frozen. Kyle, do you agree with all the things I just said while you were sort of frozen?
As they were stated, I do concur with your stance on this matter, Michael.
Kyle, I think that's really offensive. I don't think that women should just stay home and cook. I really think that... I actually can't believe you would say something like that on this podcast.
He's married too. What a misogynist. I'm going to tell my sister.
I thought you were married to a strong, independent woman, and then you go out and say something like that? Yikes. Well, Kyle, I guess Ian and I probably are going to do the rest of this podcast alone because of what you just said there.
He's canceled.
Well,
episode 115 or whatever, Kyle was canceled.
It's like a 20-minute long episode. It's just like where we've been, and then it just says Mike and Ian. Top 10 with Mike and Ian.
Yeah, this is all part of Ian's long-standing plan to seize my co-hostership.
Yeah, and that's it. Just like that, he was gone.
I'll just say that I don't appreciate how this conversation on mint chip went. I will also say that my personal feelings notwithstanding, I can understand where you're coming from, Ian, but I think ultimately this probably moves up, because I think even outside of me, mint chip is a all-time flavor.
Yeah, to be clear, mint chocolate chip is my favorite flavor, unquestionably, and I think it belongs a little bit higher. I can understand, based on the framework that Ian has given us, that it can't rank as high as it might in just a pure scoop for scoop, contest, but I still think 8 is a little bit low. But I'm willing to be persuaded. I want to see what you got.
I put it low because I knew it would move up a little bit. I just didn't want to rank it like 2 or 3 and then have it go down, because I also think it's good. I just don't. It's not my favorite, and Kyle has gotten that pretty much exclusively at his time at Whitey's, and you've never been to Whitey's, so you wouldn't really know what the other stuff that we have, 3, 2, 1, they're really, really good. So I'm willing to move it up quite a bit higher. I just want to start low, and that way we can work our way up with it instead.
Well, first of all, you're showing a natural touch to this ranking that we have yet to even develop. I will also say that your impartiality in this matter is impressive, and I just have a reputation to uphold here. I can't not stand for mint chip when it's put at number 8. So
yeah, if your dad hears about it, you're in trouble.
I'm fucked.
When I put it at number 8, I was like, "Oh shit, Kyle's gonna be mad for me." Kyle's might not run Fortnite duos with me anymore.
There goes my Christmas present.
Yeah. Hope you like Cole, bitch.
All right, Ian. Well, that was number 8. Traditionally, that brings us to number 7, but we have a detour first.
We do. I think we have a not top 3 to do, right? That's the cue.
So the kids tell me.
Hey, yo, Kev, hit that shit.
Attaboy,
Oh man, stankerific.
Woo!
That was woo. Whoa, this was like hot, sick ass and a dead carcass.
Kev showing up today. All right, Ian.
Kevin.
Could you even pick 3 ice creams you don't like? I'm sure you could.
Oh, I could very easily.
He could.
I could
flavored, mushroom flavored, and butt flavored.
I could have put together another list of top 10 top worst ice cream flavors.
Wow.
I'm very passionate about this. This is my craft. So anyway, coming in at number 3 on our not top 3 is butter pecan because 1, it's disgusting, and 2, I only serve it to elderly people and when people come through the drive-thru smoking jazz cigarettes. That's what I call weed. So because they don't know what they're getting themselves into, and it's just hilarious. So I scoop some of this, but not as much as I should to qualify it for a top 10 flavor.
That's interesting. I think butter pecan is one of those flavors that's it sort of lacks in taste precision. It's like a very sort of general flavor of richness with no real it's not really identifiable as all that pecan-y or buttery. It's just like a general rich flavor.
Yeah, I'm fine with this.
I think it just lacks. It doesn't show for me. I don't like it that much.
Yeah,
fair enough.
And I have to clarify, a little disclaimer. I have tried all of these flavors that I'm saying.
Of course,
so
of course.
I'm not.
Oh,
just
wait,
ranking
listen.
them.
Thank you for disclaiming, but believe me, we know we're in the hands of an expert.
All right, fantastic. Well, then that takes us to number 2, and this flavor was so bad that it was only around for like 4 months before we pulled it from stores.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Chipotle Chocolate, and it is chocolate with a spicy fudge swirl, and it tasted like wood chips, in my opinion, like that you would smoke with at a barbecue.
That's too bad because
I'm with you,
concept of spicy chocolate is lovely. Like I remember my grandfather got into this and started melting Milky Ways and combining them with like chilies, and then rewrapping them, which is definitely not allowed. Just spectacular, and like actual like Mexican hot chocolate is so good.
Oh, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah, it's I get what you're saying. But
we
it's
swung for the fences, and we came up with a backwards or with a K, so it's not like Whitey's. We just failed in this one.
And I've yet to see it done effectively in ice cream. It works better in like hard chocolate.
Yeah. Oh, it sure does though.
And like hot chocolate, like Mike was saying too. Ice cream, not so much. I think the coldness of it with the heat doesn't come through.
It's a tough sell.
I get that.
And then that brings us to number 1, which is the worst ice cream of all time, in my opinion, and that's black walnut. Black walnut is awful.
What does that taste like?
Ass. But anyway, it's so bad because as like a hazing thing at Whitey's, it's not even really hazing. It's just like when you get a new employee, you give them a spoon of black walnut. That's how bad it is.
So who orders this?
That's like initiation.
Who orders black walnut ice cream?
Elderly people.
The elderly again. It's interesting because when I picture a black walnut, I'm picturing, and maybe I'm having a bad memory, it's like those big green things that fall out of the tree and then turn black later. And I'm pretty sure that my cousins used to shoot that out of a potato cannon. But like, I do not picture this as a flavor of ice cream.
Well, it's like a maple flavored ice cream with black walnut pieces in it.
It's shitty. My grandpa used to have this at his house sometimes, and we would like it would just go uneaten, which is unheard of
Yeah.
in a room full of children. That there would be uneaten ice cream is without fathom. I'm on board with this, Ian.
This is the one ice cream flavor that I've never had a child order, and that I've never like heard of anyone ordering for their child.
And by the way, I just want to clarify. I'm Googling right now, and I'm right in what I'm picturing. Like this would be like acorn flavored. Like black walnut is just a thing that's on a tree down the street from where you live.
Yeah,
this is not like a farm raised nut.
Not interested.
It's not good.
Ugh,
Pass.
These nuts.
Pass. These nuts.
Yeah, it is not lit, as the kids would say.
That is very not lit.
Rip.
Damn,
I had some
if you
black
would.
walnut ice cream.
R.I.P. 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 All right, number 7, baby.
7.
I'm a big fan of this one because I love peanut butter. So this is chocolate peanut butter Rebel. And so it's chocolate ice cream. It's very milky chocolate ice cream. And it has a peanut butter swirl with a brownie Rebel.
What is that?
It is delicious.
What are you saying? Revel?
Yeah, Revel. It means a swirl throughout the ice cream.
Damn.
Interesting.
So it is my favorite. It's fantastic with chocolate on top. It's great with marshmallow. It's really good with a little bit of peanut butter on top. And in a shake, it performs because the peanut butter emulsifies into the ice cream.
Wow, there's a $10 word.
It becomes a Reese's peanut butter cup in the ice cream, which is really good.
That sounds wonderful.
It is great. I ranked it this low because I know not everybody loves peanut butter in their ice cream.
That's just Allegis. She's weird.
There's some people
She
that
is
think
weird.
it's disgusting. I've had customers. I've explained it to customers before because I explain it to customers the same way I explain it to you, and they say that it sounds really gross because they don't like peanut butter and brownies together, and then I want to tell them to leave my store. So yeah, that is why it's number 7.
Who would even say that?
But yeah,
People who don't like watching things do well, I guess. Like peanut butter and chocolate just match made in heaven. Does that bring us to number 6?
I
booyah!
think it does.
This is the Rocky Road equivalent of what Whitey's has because we do not have Rocky Road.
That's a
Maybe
trademark
that's too
issue, I'm
mainstream
sure.
for us. So we use Moose Tracks instead.
Oh yeah, sure.
And when people order Rocky Road, we say, I can get you Moose Tracks, which to the customer definition is a vanilla ice cream with a very heavy fudge swirl and Reese's peanut butter cups inside.
Oh man,
That is why it's higher than Peanut Butter Rebels, because it is the perfection.
Ian, we are on the same exact page. When you said chocolate peanut butter ice cream, I said to myself, and then out loud before we cut it, that Moose Tracks or Rocky Road, whatever you want to call it, is the pinnacle of peanut butter chocolate merger when it comes to frozen treats. I like that you have it above chocolate peanut butter. I think they occupy a similar space. But again, going back to the mint chip and cookie dough argument, if you're going to put this in a shake, which I recommend, having a peanut butter cup in the middle of your shake it's heaven.
It is very good.
Can't be beat.
I really enjoy it.
Michael?
I'm just sitting here and enjoying the discussion.
It reminds me, they used to have it in like every McDonald's. They had a Reese's McFlurry, and they don't really do it anymore. And it's really a shame because it's so fucking good.
That's one of the best. The Reese's Peanut Butter Cup Blizzard is really wonderful at Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
That's the good shit.
Yeah. I'm completely on board with this one, Ian. I think that's a good spot for Moose Tracks.
Fantastic. So number 5 moves us into seasonal territory. So at Whitey's, we're very seasonal. We have different ice creams. Right now, we're in our spring season.
Sure.
So our ice creams,
It's like a spring fashion line.
It honestly, it sounds like it, but
It's the
right
spring
now,
collection.
Yeah, I
We
didn't
have,
get my my Whitey's catalog in the mail this year.
With Ian just like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Favorite non-pornographic ice cream magazine. Whitey's.
Whitey's.
good housekeeping.
Alley oop.
Nice.
But number 5 is part of our winter collection, and it is red velvet cake.
Mm.
And it is a white chocolate ice cream with actual red velvet cake crushed into it with the cream cheese frosting still on top. So when you get this by itself, you get cake, you get white chocolate, and you get cream cheese frosting. When you get it in a shake, it blends together to make this like rosé pink kind of color. It's really, really nice. And then with a sundae, hot fudge goes perfectly on this.
Interesting. This is a bold number 5. This is a bold number 5, and I think it's probably the one that, at least for me, I don't know, Kyle might feel differently, is the most distinctly Whitey's. Because I'm not sure I've ever seen red velvet ice cream on a list anywhere, like on a board anywhere at an ice cream place.
It's pretty distinctly Whitey's. It's not very store friendly. It's mostly just it's only in our store, and if you want to take more of it, we pack it and we distribute it. So it's made in the factory right across the street from my store, and then they give everyone 3 gallons, but we have to hand pack it and give it to people. So it is very exclusive to Whitey's.
My goodness.
I've never had it, but from association, I can tell you that those who have had it in my presence have really enjoyed it. I know from my own personal taste, it's probably a little too rich for my blood, but I like the seasonal aspect of it. I really enjoy the prospect of like at a certain time of year starting to get a hankering for it.
Yeah, it's a Christmas flavor.
Yeah,
it is a Christmas flavor. We still have it now, but we're running out of it, so we still have it for the time being, but it mainly runs from November until like late November until around now is when we usually lose it.
I do want to use this opportunity though to lodge my my complaint that I have, like a long-standing complaint against red velvet cake, which is that it's really just chocolate cake with red food dye.
Yeah.
So not the ice cream's fault, but like be different red velvet cake.
Yeah, some really smart guy back in the day was like, if we just put a little bit of red food coloring in here, we can call it velvet cake.
Yeah, it's really good marketing. It's not really that different from chocolate cake.
It's also really good because guess what's good? Chocolate cake.
Velvet cake. Oh, yes.
Well, yeah, Mike, what the point is,
you know.
All right, shut up, guys. Well played.
Yeah. Good call here. When we get to the end of this, we'll have to discuss what this list is, because if it's a Whitey's list, then it should be arguably even higher, and if it's not, we might have to discuss some other.
That's what I was thinking. That's why I put it dead in the middle, is because then it can be swayed both ways. So
okay, all right, we'll keep that in the back of your mind then.
All right, so number 4, that comes to another one of our winter seasonal flavors, which is peppermint Oreo. So it's a peppermint ice cream and blended Oreos put into the ice cream.
Ooh, no!
It is very good.
I just had a Shamrock Shake Oreo McFlurry or whatever, an Oreo Shamrock Shake Flurry. I don't know, whatever it is from McDonald's.
My goodness!
Oh, girl!
For St. Patrick's Day, and this sounds very similar. Like that mint and Oreo combination is just.
It's
very good.
When you guys have this one, I will get this over mint chip, specifically in shake form, because...
Oh my goodness.
Well, first of all, it's actual... Okay, so it's peppermint flavored ice cream, which is different than your standard... Like yes. Your mint chip mint is more... It's like a cleaner kind of like...
yeah, it's a spearmint.
Spearmint. Whereas peppermint... This is peppermint ice cream, so there is a different flavor profile.
So it's like sort of that smokier, like...
Oh, yeah. And on top of that, it's got crushed actual peppermint in it. And so as you're eating it in the shake, it's got like... It's different because a chocolate chip crunch is like a snap. But getting an actual peppermint piece in your teeth is like... It's hard, it's brittle, but then once you smash it, it gets like gooey, and
it also is sort of dusty almost. It's like that. It's like chip. It's like it's the best.
I hate to interrupt this. I hate to interrupt this great culinary explanation of what peppermint Oreo ice cream is, but our peppermint Oreo ice cream does not have crushed peppermints in it.
Well, what am I thinking of?
Peppermint ice cream, which we also have.
Well, that shit's great.
It's also good.
Bastards.
Well, I will say, just the fact that it's peppermint over regular mint and that you're tossing Oreos into it makes it something that I would enjoy eating immensely. This, I think, falls in the same camp as Red Velvet, where most places aren't going to have a peppermint Oreo, but
Yeah.
Boy, is it good at Whitey's.
This is also one of the only seasonal flavors we offer in half gallons that are already like pre-packaged, and we can ship those. So those
are we getting any sponsorship dollars from Whitey's? Because you are a hell of a salesman.
Yeah,
we aren't getting any sponsorship, nor am I getting any dollars for this, or when I'm actually on the clock either. But that's fine.
Another day, am I right, Ian?
Man.
Another day, another nickel. So that brings us to number 3, and I'm gonna fire off my honorable mentions here, just because I think that's a good spot for him.
Yep,
please do.
So coming in on an honorable mention is cookies and cream, which we actually don't serve at Whitey's. We have something else that's called White Tiger Paws, which is vanilla, Oreos, and hot fudge. So it's a little added to it. Another honorable mention for me is one of our spring flavors that we have right now. It's my favorite spring flavor. It's just not really good with anything else. It's a blueberry cheesecake. I think it's really good. If you don't like blueberries, you wouldn't like this one. Except I like blueberries, so I do.
I like blueberries, but I don't like fake blueberry flavoring.
It has like crushed up blueberry paste inside the ice cream.
Now that I might be able to get down with.
Yeah, it's not artificial flavor. It's natural flavored.
Jeez.
Next is watermelon sherbet, which I really like as it's like a summertime flavor. But
you
we have
do love the watermelon sherbet, Ian.
It's very good. I'm a big fan of watermelon.
Sounds like a good palate cleanser, especially if you're about to eat the Genovian pear and cheese dessert. It'd be the perfect thing to have.
Don't get brain freeze though.
It is good like that though, because all of our ice creams have 12% butterfat, and then our watermelon sherbet does not have that much fat in it. It's mostly sugar, so it offers a nice, more crisp and cleansed palate.
Oh, it's like a health food.
Not really, because there's way more sugar in it than our actual ice cream, so that turns to bubbling fat.
And then you blow up.
So then our next one is chocolate chip ice cream, which I think our chocolate chip is good. The chocolate chips are a little too dark for my taste, and I just don't really think it's very good to be on the list, but it's good enough to be an honorable mention.
What's the shape of the chip? What's the shape of the chip? Are we
talking?
They
are shavings. They're shavings, and then you have some squares as well, but we got rid of the squares not too long ago.
Okay. I like the squares.
Kyle's shaking his head right now, because we have these polar chips that he really likes. One time he came in and I gave him a little cup, and I just put the polar chips in it because he really liked those, but we got rid of those, so it's a little different.
Damn.
Now.
Those chips were so good.
And I think the most honorable mention of the list is vanilla, because vanilla is good in anything, but I really wouldn't want it by itself, and a plain vanilla shake, when offered with so many different options, it's just not really hitting for me.
What color is the vanilla at Whitey's? Are we talking like a bright white, or is there like an egg kind of color? Where are we at in the spectrum here?
It is a whitish yellow, so it's like creamy, like eggshell kind of white.
So is it like is it a French vanilla? Like, is there egg in it? There's not egg in it. Okay.
We do serve French vanilla, but only in half gallons and pints. We don't have that in our dipping counter. So our vanilla is pretty white. It's slightly yellow, but it's very white.
Okay.
So that brings us to number 3, and Kyle's going to be kind of heated with this one, but it's the same deal with the whole mint chocolate chip. It's because I had him try this flavor once when he was in store, and he didn't love it as much as mint chip. But this is mint cookie crunch, which is mint ice cream, fudge, and Oreos mixed throughout. And the Oreos dissolve in your mouth, and if you like Thin Mints, this is the ice cream for you, because it tastes just like a Thin Mint Girl Scout cookie.
My note for the mint cookie crunch is just do less, because I think that the chocolate in this particular ice cream is a little overwhelming. It's like when you get because I think the perfect mint chip ice cream is pure mint ice cream with just a bunch of chips in it. This is like an actual it's chocolate mint ice cream and then Oreos on top of that. So
I know this type of mint chocolate chip that you're talking about, and I'm generally less of a fan.
It's because if you're gonna do that, you don't need it's either do the Oreos and have it just be mint chip, or just mint ice cream, or blend it and have mint chocolate ice cream and leave the Oreos out. I understand that this is a very popular flavor, but for me, it's a lot.
I just really like it in shakes because when you pair this with the vanilla flavoring, like the shake turns to like a really nice dark green, kind of like a little slightly black color. It sounds unappetizing, but it's really, really good looking. And then when you taste that, it's like a mint cookie just exploded on your palate, which I really, really like about this. Also, it goes really good with chocolate flavor, with chocolate topping and marshmallow topping, as well as hot fudge. And if you're into it, like some kind of like light, not too acidic fruit goes well with a mint cookie.
Whoa.
Pretty nice.
God, you are a maestro. I legitimately feel like I am at a high-end restaurant listening to a sommelier. And this has never happened to me. I've never actually done this. But I'm imagining... Yeah, I've got like Xander Truffaut from Parks and Rec, who's just received his Master Sommelier certificate from the state of Indiana. And he's telling me exactly which wine to pair with my Manchego.
Well, Whitey's is the dopest, quite possibly Trillist destination in the area.
Wow, seamless reference.
Nice work.
I'll have to come back for a Parks and Rec one, but we already did one of those, so it's fine.
Yeah, no, please, literally anytime.
Do another
I
one.
think you're pretty good looking.
This is how you eat it.
I actually just watched that one yesterday. I'm just a little puppy.
Side note here. If you like Aziz Ansari, like his character, watch Master of None on Netflix, because it is just
so good.
It is just 30 minutes of Tom Haverford, but it's a different life, and his name is Dev Shaw. That's a plug for me.
I saw a oh fuck, what the hell? Why can't I think of the name right now? The apple juice. What's the apple juice?
Bernelli's?
No.
You don't like Bernelli's? Or what? Or you never had?
What?
I just watched this one yesterday too. I kind of forget what the apple
name
juice
right now.
is.
Oh,
we'll have to do it in post, and we'll have to like sample your voice saying the apple juice over it.
I know.
It's Martinelli's.
Martinelli's. Yeah, I just saw one the other day with Caroline, and it was this specific, like the fancy ass bottle that he has in episode 1. In the jar.
It's like really wide and like the lid pops off.
Yes, it's like in a mason jar.
The way
I saw that recently. Oh, it's so good.
You never had Martinelli's? 2 Martinelli's, please.
Hey, you know what? Martinelli's is some good shit. I can't believe I just couldn't think of that because I used to drink Martinelli's a lot as a kid. That or Mott's.
Yeah, but that shit's good too. Ian, I'm flattered that you put 3 at least mint-based ice creams on your list. I appreciate that.
We might have to do some reordering of the mint. Pretty far down.
So that was number 2 or number 3. So are we ready for
What's
number 2?
What's number 2 there, Walks?
Number 2, and I just heard that this was not a Whitey's exclusive from Allegis talking about Vinny D's, which is a shop in Chicago.
I tried to go. I tried to say benzine.
This is Graham Central Station, which is a graham cracker ice cream with a graham cracker swirl.
Wait. Hold on. Before you continue, are you saying that the flavor you're about to describe is not exclusive to Whitey's? Or that the name isn't? Like, is there somewhere else that calls it this too?
Yeah, Vinny D's calls it Graham Central Station.
Okay, all right, sorry. Continue describing this ice cream.
I doubt they've ever heard of Whitey's. I doubt anybody from Whitey's has heard of Vinny D's, but it's all right though. So this is one of my favorite ice cream flavors, and it goes extremely well with the sundae toppings. And it has its own sundae dedicated to just this ice cream. So it has its own sundae dedicated to it, and it's called the S'more Sundae, and it has hot fudge, marshmallow, and the chocolate chips that Kyle really likes. It's delicious. It's great. I love it. And it goes really well in a shake with vanilla, chocolate, or marshmallow flavoring. And then what I like to do is put strawberries or raspberries in it, and then give that a mix, and it's exquisite. I love it.
Yeah. Good call with the strawberries, especially.
So it's really, really solid on all 3 fronts. I make a lot of Graham Central Station shakes. which is why I have it placed at number 2. And I just learned like 2 days ago that it wasn't exclusive to Whitey's.
Mike, I know you love a graham cracker ice cream, or I know you love a graham cracker, and therefore I assume you love a graham cracker ice cream, I guess.
You know, I'm not sure I've ever had a graham cracker ice cream, now that I think about it, but man, this sounds good, and I love graham crackers. I'm a passionate consumer of graham crackers, so I'm like, I think you've so far done your job, Ian, in that my first stop at Whitey's so far, now this is excluding whatever number 1 is, will be Grand Central Station, because that's a hell of a pitch you just made.
Well, we actually have something for you then. It's called a flavor flight. We give a banana boat, and we put 4 half-size dips of any 4 flavors you like. And that's what we give to people that's what I recommend to people when they're coming through like on a road trip because they've heard of us. I say like, try this instead. And then you can have 4 of them instead of just 1. And you're paying $5.50 instead of almost $3 for 1 scoop. That
sounds like a Scoops Ahoy invention.
Who do you work for? Scoops?
I'm not as big into graham crackers as you are, Mike, but I am a big fan of this ice cream, and I've eaten a very large quantity of it just by stealing whatever Elite can't finish. So
yeah, I brought a half gallon up to you one time and it was gone almost by the end of the weekend.
Shit's good. Elite gets this a lot, and which means I end up stealing at least a bite or 2 every time we go there. So big fan.
Damn, that's the good shit.
Boy, am I curious about number 1.
Yeah, what is number 1?
I've also brought this to Kyle's apartment, but it is chocolate fudge brownie, which is a slightly darker version of our mint chocolate ice cream with a very heavy fudge swirl that's still like stretchy and really nice with a really, really nice brownie. I really like that
description. That's such a good description of that, like the chocolate portion of the ice cream.
And with a nice brownie revel where the chunks are still pretty big. It's delicious. I've made more shakes of this ice cream than any other flavor. I have scooped more sundaes where people will get this with hot fudge, marshmallow. My personal favorite one that Talia showed me is red raspberry because it tastes like those Ghirardelli red raspberry dark
chocolates.
That
was what I was going to guess was the raspberry would be the best with this flavor. That was what I was hoping.
It's a sleeper. It's a sleeper. Not many people know about that and not many people get it, but it's so good because the acidity of the raspberries cuts through all the creaminess.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I love it so much. And I will eat this by itself any day of the week. Like if you give me a half gallon and I could choose any flavor of what I get, this would be the one that I get to choose is chocolate fudge brownie.
Yeah. I really want to emphasize that Ian is not being remunerated for this in any way, but your sales skills are really unsurpassed in the history of this pod because your ability to paint a picture for us and make us want to consume that thing that you're sort of, selling to us, really unparalleled, really something, because you just took me on a hell of a journey.
Sell me this ice cream.
Hell of a journey.
It's one of the main things Boy Scouts taught me, how to sell popcorn efficiently.
Yeah, the difference here is that you've got a really good product you're selling here. Yes.
I don't need to be selling this. Like, people will come to get it.
Yeah, well, I'll come running. This chocolate fudge brown, as we call it in this household, is it's a delightful ice cream. I tend to stay away from desserts that are super rich. I don't have a lot of capacity for that kind of dessert. And yet, I would say that this ice cream straddles that line. It gets right up to that line, and then it's just pleasantly underneath it, especially if you cut it with, like you were saying, Ian, some kind of raspberry or something. I think it's fitting that some kind of chocolate ice cream is at the top, because I think if we're strictly going by the letter of the law and its versatility or its standalone ability, you can't beat chocolate. And this ice cream is an inspired version of a chocolate ice cream.
This is true. I really like. I'm not a huge fan of just standalone chocolate ice cream, but I do think it's the most versatile when it comes to chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, which are the 3 home run hitters. They're the legend ice creams. It's the most probably standalone because you can't really do much with strawberry.
I agree. I think this is the time where we need to start talking about Mike. Do you have anything you could see yourself adding to this list?
Well, so I think if the task we had set ourselves was best ice cream flavors or best, grocery store ice cream flavors or whatever, like some other variation on this excellent list, I think I could. But given the constraints that we've placed on this, which I like, to be clear, I'm very pro the way we've done this list. I don't think so because, I'm assuming that Whitey's has, whatever, pick a flavor, I don't know. I'm forgetting any flavors that exist.
Superman.
Pistachio. Let's say pistachio. Like, I bet there's a pistachio there, but I like... Okay, there's not. I'm getting a head shake. But, like, let's just pretend there were a pistachio there. I like the concept of ranking these ice creams in large part based on the Whitey's version of that thing. And so the list of flavors I would have wouldn't be that. So I want to cede my time to the delegate from Chicago.
I think that I agree with you, Mike, and I'd like to keep this list mostly intact. I think there's a little bit of room for amending because I think we're double dipping in a couple of places. I think Moose Tracks and Chocolate Peanut Butter for me occupy similar spaces. And while I'm happy to do it, we might be overloading a little bit with 3 mint flavors on here. And I do think that vanilla belongs on this list, even if it is not like a French vanilla, like a fancy version at Whitey's. I think that that probably belongs somewhere, and I think I'd like to add something that's like strictly fruit based because we've got on here a lot of savory flavors, and I think especially like you were saying, Ian, like with the sherbet, like I think there's room on here for a fruit or a sherbet type.
Prune.
Yeah, I can see that
So we got prune, rum raisin, and what was the other one?
Can I have prune ice cream with bran sprinkles? Goes right through me every time.
I don't even know if that bit is from anything or if that's just what's happening. I think you're just ad-libbing that, and it's horrifying.
No. That's the episode of Mermaid Man orders that at the ice cream truck.
Yeah, it's SpongeBob.
Oh, I thought you were just ad-libbing that.
Ian, I wish. Was that funny? Ian, what's the highest form of like fruit-based ice cream at Whitey's?
It depends on what your definition of fruit-based is. Like, do you want actual fruit pieces or do you want fruit flavored?
Not necessarily. Like, is there like a top-notch strawberry ice cream there or like an orange sherbet or something like that?
We just got rid of our orange sherbet. We have a strawberry ice cream that's pretty good, but the fruitiest ice cream I sell is called Smurf or Blue Moon. It is blue citrus flavored ice cream with marshmallows in it, and it tastes like Fruit Loops. But see, I don't like it. So that's why it didn't come to mind.
Doesn't sound very good.
It's probably the most sold to kids. I'll give it to a lot of kids.
It sounds like it occupies like a Superman kind of space.
Yeah, it kind of does. It's very bright blue, and it's very weird looking.
Well, then let's just leave something like that as an honorable. I would like to insert vanilla here, and I'd like to move mint chip up. Those are the 2 things I care about.
Okay. Well, my take on the Moose Tracks versus Chocolate Peanut Butter Rebel is that Moose Tracks is a vanilla ice cream, and Chocolate Peanut Butter Rebel is very heavily chocolate flavored ice cream, and they don't taste that similar. So that's why I think they're 2 standalone flavors. I don't think they should be combined into one, like chocolate peanut butter ice cream.
All right. Well, how do you feel about? I don't know. What about peppermint Oreo since that's seasonal? Does that feel like a good place to remove one from this list?
I think that if we're gonna remove one, either red velvet cake or peppermint Oreo would be good to remove because those are both seasonal and they're not very widely known.
Let's toss peppermint Oreo because we've got some redundancy there, and the red velvet cake is kind of a stand-in for other cake type ice creams, and I think that's an important demographic to hit.
All right.
Yeah.
I
would be pro. I think that mint chocolate chip could potentially slide in to a spot like number 4.
I agree. This is personal. I would move mint cookie down to like 8 where mint chocolate chip was, move mint chip up to like 4, and then put vanilla up at 3.
I would move Mint Cookie Crunch to 6. Take Mint Chip and replace it with 4. And then bump everything else down and add vanilla somewhere else.
Okay.
Because I'm mint cookie is very, very good and I really enjoy it. But I don't want to have 2 mint flavors like right next to each other in the final
I agree.
list.
Okay, so you want mint cookie down at 6. Why don't we put... I'm happy to move Moose Tracks. What if we vaulted Moose Tracks up to like 3? I think it's really popular, and then we could put vanilla at like 5. And then vanilla could slide in at like an 8.
Yeah, I think that would be that'd be probably a better list of it because I do sell a lot of Moose Tracks.
Okay. Let me finish editing this list then.
You crazy cats lost me.
Yeah.
I was tracking it, but I'm excited for the recap.
Ian, do you want me to recap it because I've got the list here? Or did you keep track of all that?
I did not, so I would love it if you could recap it.
Okay. I will recap, and then we will get to your adulations and our thank yous, because this was a great deal of fun, and I wish I had some ice cream in the house.
Yeah, I need ice cream now.
Number 10.
Post haste.
Chocolate chip cookie dough. Number 9, salted caramel. Number 8, vanilla. Number 7, chocolate peanut butter. Number 6, mint cookie crunch. Number 5, the Whitey's seasonal special red velvet cake. Number 4, your co-host Kyle's very favorite ice cream, and Michael's too, mint chocolate chip. Number 3, Moose Tracks. Number 2, Graham Central Station. And number 1, chocolate fudge brown. Wow. I don't think we've ever had someone as qualified as you are to do this list, Ian. And I mean qualified to do their own podcast as you are qualified to do this. We really appreciate it.
No, we've had people who have thought about and studied their topic for years and years and years, and I've never encountered a level of subject matter expertise like yours on this podcast. So I think it goes without a doubt, you are the most informed and thoughtful guest we've had. I mean, it's not, unfortunately for you, a category when the Nobel Prize committee comes around later in the year. But if it were, I'm confident that you would win. Confident.
Well, I appreciate the love, Mike. The way I was describing these flavors is how I describe them to customers, so you get equal treatment. And I also didn't have anything in front of me. Like, these are all memorized. We have to do this to become a full employee. So,
hold on. Let's be very clear. Your interpretation of the requirements to work at Whitey's and those of some of your slacker coworkers, I'm certain are very different. Like, I agree. I'm sure they told you had to learn the flavors, but there is no way there's anybody else at that store who feels them in their soul the way that you clearly do.
Yeah, there's no way.
We actually take a written test, and if we don't pass it, we have to retake it.
But how many people forget that shit right away? Whereas you could recite this in your sleep. Whatever. I don't want to talk shit about
you've got this cold. But... No, I'm sure they're great, but you've got this cold.
Well, I appreciate it.
That being what we're trying to say here, Ian, is a huge thank you for sharing your wisdom with us. It's been a pleasure to have you, and we're looking forward already to the next time that you're on. Until that time, I usually end a podcast by saying thanks to our boy Kev, who we do not know, who puts we do not know Kevin, who puts our not top 3 and intro music together. That shit's stanky. It's good to have.
Stank-alicious.
I also usually thank my sister Erin, who puts together our artwork. I really love that artwork. Erin's really good at that kind of thing. If you want to see more of that kind of thing, her artistic stylings can be seen on Instagram at Santa Design.
And speaking of Instagram, we have an excellent Instagram, which is curated, maintained, run by our social media maven, Caroline Labranti. She has a personal account if you want to check out some of her other stuff, cml.photos. So our Instagram handle, top10km with the 10 spelled out, TEN. Our email, where you can tell us all the different ways we are wonderful, terrible, you hate ice cream ruined your life. That is top10km@gmail.com, also spelled out TEN. Finally, well, I'm sure you're listening to us on some sort of podcast app. There are plenty of other ones. You can check us out on Stitcher, Spotify, Podbean, the Apple Podcast app, pretty much wherever podcasts can be found. So, Kyle, so Ian, so Whitey, those are the things I would say.
Wonderful.
Thanks
again, Ian. That was a real pleasure.
Wunderbar.
Always a pleasure.
Later, boys.
See ya.
Bye.